welcome back. It's the second hour. I love saying that. That's my Larry King impersonation, by the way. The second hour of Fire Your MD now. Thanks so much to the Genesis Communication Network, Ted Anderson, and the whole cadre of folks there who make this show possible. Alex Jones, et cetera, et cetera. Thanks so much for making it possible for me to get up on my soapbox for 2 hours every day, spreading the message, the good word of science-based, clinically verified, holistic with the H, with the W, holistic with the W, it's holistic and not H-O-L-I-S-T-I-C, it's W-H-O-L-I-S-T-I-C. We're talking about whole systems medicine, a new paradigm, the correct way of looking at the relationship between the body, disease, and healing. Now, a little while ago, we were talking to Leslie about her teenage son's experience of Crohn's disease, right? And it got me thinking. I remember when I was in medical school in the late 80s, from 1987 to 1991, and we took a course, part of the required training in medical school, naturopathic medical school, which is the best way to study medicine in the world. Fully accredited naturopathic medical school. By the way, to become a naturopathic doctor, 4 years pre-med, 4 years naturopathic medical school, 900 hours of clinical supervision. Have to pass national boards, have to pass state boards, have to do 25 hours of continuing education credit every year. It's a full-blown medical degree. And when you line up side by side the education of a naturopath and the education of an MD, we eclipse MDs in every aspect of education except drugs. The only thing that MDs are educated in more than we are is drugs and, of course, the surgical procedure. But anatomy and physiology, naturopaths have more hours of training. Diagnostic techniques, naturopaths have more hours of training. Our understanding of how the body works, even just from an elementary anatomy and physiology point of view, I can run circles around any MD, as can most of my naturopathic colleagues. Naturopathic medical education is the best way to understand how the body works. And, the profession needs help. The profession is listing heavily in the direction of becoming green allopaths. I like that phrase because it really translates well. That's really what modern-day naturopaths are being trained in. But my colleague, Jim Sensenig, has come up with a solution. He just founded a nonprofit organization, the intention of which, believe it or not, is to teach new-fashioned, naturopathic, holistic paradigm treatments to naturopathic physicians. How about that? You have to do continuing education now after you become secured your naturopathic education to learn naturopathic philosophy. That's not the most optimal way to do it, but at least there's a way to do it, and my good friend Jim Sensenig is dialing that in. He's going to talk to us about that and about cancer, the holistic treatment of cancer in the days and weeks to come, so stay tuned for that. But I digress, right? I was talking about the teenager and about my education of human development class that I remember taking when I was in naturopathic medical school. And the professor got up in front of the class. It was a psychology class, and she read one of the most eloquent, descriptive, spot-on, perfect. It was the best description of a teenager that I have ever heard. And we all know teenagers, how, difficult they are and unpredictable and defiant and oppositionally defiant. And, they're just going to do it their own way, damn the torpedoes type of a deal, right? This was the most eloquent description of the mind of a teenager that I had ever heard in my life. And guess who wrote it? Plato. Plato. In, 200 BC, 400 BC. I don't even know when Plato was alive, but it was a long time ago, folks. It was a long time ago, before Christ, right? It was a long time ago. And, well, what this means is that human nature being what it is, some things never change. Nothing new under the sun. Teenagers are the way that teenagers are, not because of modern society and video games and media and television and all of this. It's because they're teenagers. And it's always been this way throughout recorded history. Now, encouraging teenagers to get on board with the nutritional supplement program is a challenging thing to do. And there are ways that you can do that. And when you dial in those particular ways to help teenagers figure it out, then you've kind of got a friend for life. I'm going to be talking about this and how to dose children's vitamins. You know, when you give someone a science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition treatment through longevity, which is the best way to do it, and through the wisdom of Dr. Wallach, which is certainly the best way to do it, it's a dose-dependent phenomenon, right? I mean, doesn't that make sense? Like someone who's 150 pounds should need more than someone who's 50 pounds? Someone who's 200 pounds should need more than someone who's 100 pounds? I mean, doesn't that just make sense? For goodness sake, we have different formulas for dog food based on the size of the dog. Well, guess what's different in the formula? How many vitamins and minerals and essential fatty acids are in there per unit dose? Because a greyhound at 200 pounds, you know, a Great Dane at 175 pounds needs quite a bit more than a little poodle or, you know, a little lap dog, a little Shih Tzu, weighing in at 20 pounds does, right? Well, you know, the veterinarian, the animal food industry figured this out because of Dr. Wallach's research, by the way, 30 years ago. Well, we do the same thing with humans. And one of the most common questions that comes up is, hey, Dr. G, how do I dose this stuff with my kids? Well, we're going to do a webinar about that tomorrow night. That is the 28th, Thursday, the 28th of March, 2013, Thursday, the 28th of March, 2013. We're going to be talking about nutritional strategies for teenagers and how to dose the 90 essential nutrients for kids. It's going to be a lot of fun. Every once in a while, we throw in kind of a lighthearted webinar just so I don't lose my mind. And tomorrow night is it. It's going to be a fun webinar. It's going to be informational. And hopefully it will give you lots of information which is inside of the domain of the stuff that you didn't know you didn't know. And when you get access to stuff that you didn't know, that's when you have eureka moments. And it's my goal tomorrow night to generate as many eureka moments as I can for the listening audience about how to convince teenagers or how to enroll teenagers into taking this stuff, number one, and number two, how to dose it appropriately. Because, you know, for instance, if you went to a medical doctor or a naturopathic physician or a chiropractor or some type of health professional and you had a sinus infection, and that health professional stuck a Q-tip up your nose, took out a sample of the mucus and cultured it, which they never do anymore, but if they, let's say, you know, we're 30 years ago and they actually still do things the way that they should. So they do a culture and sensitivity, and they come back with an analysis, and they say, hey, you've got Staphylococcus aureus, and you need 30 milligrams of Cipro twice a day, 30 milligrams of the antibiotic ciprofloxacin twice a day for 7 days, 30 milligrams twice a day for 7 days. Well, okay. If you take 10 milligrams once a day instead of 30 milligrams twice a day, it's probably not going to work, right? Right. Well, does that mean the antibiotic doesn't work? No. It simply means you did not take enough. You just didn't take enough. Well, with medical nutrition, this is where the rubber hits the road, and this is the sticking point of medical nutrition. The only time that medical nutrition does not work is if you're taking really bad, hard-to-absorb recipes, number one. Number two, if you're not taking enough, you know, like you're 200 pounds and you're taking the 100-pound dose, or you're 200 pounds and you're only taking the 50-pound dose. Or number three, if you're not absorbing whatever it is that you're taking. So let's say you're taking a 200-pound dose, you're 200 pounds, and you're taking a 200-pound dose of the stuff that you are expecting to support and promote the structure and function of your bones and joints because in told you have arthritis. All right. So you're 200 pounds, and you take 2 healthy bone and joint packs a month, which is exactly what the doctor ordered, 2 healthy bone and joint packs a month. You're dialing in the dosages every day, but you're eating wheat, barley, rye, and oats, oil in a bottle, fried food, well-done red meat, meat that has nitrates in it, the skins of baked potatoes, yams, and sweet potatoes, and you're washing your lunch down every afternoon with a soda pop or Perrier or sparkling water, club soda. Well, guess what? Those foods are delivering a damaging blow to your intestinal tract and your stomach and are prohibiting and inhibiting your digestive tract's ability, number one, to digest food and or nutrients, because nutrients have to be digested and metabolized also and absorbed. So if you're taking the appropriate dosage, but you're eating the 10 bad foods, it's like punching holes in the bottom of a tank and then pouring water in the top, right? Punching holes in the bottom of a bottle and pouring water in the top. It's going to leak right out the bottom before it gets into the body. So this is why we advocate 2 things. Number one, well, 3 things, really. Number one, you have to get the right recipes, and Youngevity has that dialed in for you. Youngevity has the best recipes I've ever seen, number one. Number 2, you have to take enough of the right stuff appropriate for your body weight, right? So if it's a bone and joint problem, you need the healthy bone and joint pack, not the healthy blood sugar pack. If it's a blood sugar issue, you need the healthy blood sugar pack, not the healthy start pack. So you got to take the right stuff appropriate for your body weight, and you have to eliminate the 10 bad foods. If you do these things, eliminate the 10 bad foods and take the nutritional supplements appropriate for your body weight, then it's only a matter of time until things roll around in your direction, and that's a beautiful thing. 866-582-9933. Lines open. We're going right to California now. Wonderful California with Marie, who's calling in with a question about a cough. Hey, Marie, thanks for calling. You are live.
Thanks for taking my call. Well, my husband, Danny, was coughing for about a week ago. And so finally he had a lot of phlegm in his, when he coughed, and he couldn't sleep. He had a shortness of breath. So today I took him to the doctor. So the doctor gave him some codeine to take, and he looked at his record, because the doctor, his own doctor told him to take, because he had high cholesterol. So they told him to take the Lipitor, and the doctor was shocked. I told him that he's not taking it. So he said, "Are you taking your risk? Not taking the cholesterol." Especially, my husband had a heart attack in 1999. So he said, especially he had a talk, you're taking that risk. So I don't know what to say. Also, I told him that because I talked to Dr. Wallace before, and Dr. Wallace said that don't take the medication, just take the start healthy blood sugar. So my husband has been taking that since beginning of February, but he stopped taking it now because he's sick. He said, I don't want to mix them together. I'm sick. I don't want it to throw up, phlegm, with that, how Pansy has some little pink come out, so he doesn't want to, he thought it was a blood. So he said, I don't want to take it until I'm getting well. So
okay.
What can I do?
All right, so here's the deal. Wallach's correct. Your medical doctor's wrong. And if any medical professional tells you that there's a relationship between cholesterol and heart disease, you want to hold their feet to the fire and say, show me the research that supports that point of view, because it doesn't exist. From an academic point of view, the research that shows there's no relationship between cholesterol and heart disease is overwhelming. I mean, it is overwhelming. It is a giant myth fabricated by the pharmaceutical industry that there's any relationship whatsoever between high cholesterol and heart disease. It does not exist. It doesn't exist. So any medical professional who tells you to take a statin drug should have their license revoked. They're just not staying current with the literature. They're only listening to the pharmaceutical reps. They're not doing their job. They're not objectively reviewing the research and the literature. They're lazy. they're reckless, they're dangerous, and you should fire them. You should never go back to that medical doctor ever again, and you should write a letter to the Board of Medicine complaining that your doctor scared you into wanting to take a cholesterol drug, even though the evidence, the academic evidence, clearly says that there's no relationship between heart disease and cholesterol, and you want to know why your medical doctor is telling you these things and file a formal complaint. That's what I would do. I doubt very much that anybody's going to do that. But look, it doesn't exist. So fire that particular medical doctor. Never go back to him because he's an idiot and he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's putting your life in danger, and he's not staying current with the research. He's lazy, bad dog, no biscuit. Now, about the cough, by the way, pick up a copy of my book, because I've got references in the book that specifically tell you about this, and you can buy my book for $10 on Amazon.com. I mean, it's really easy to do it. Just visit the website, click on the little store link, and buy a copy of the book, and then you can give that to your husband and have him read it, and that will perhaps help him to understand our point of view, which is the correct point of view. Now, the cough that your husband has been going all around this country. There's been a nasty spring cold that everybody and their brother has gotten, and nobody's talking about it. Whatever happened to the flu vaccine and how good that was. Well, I'm going to tell you about this when we come back. We're up against the hard break. Stick around, Marie. I'm going to tell you what your husband can do to support and promote his respiratory tract when we come back. It's Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, reminding you that only you can prevent allopathic reductionism. We're talking to Marie from California. Marie from California. Her husband's got that nasty chest cold that's going all around the country that nobody in the media is talking about. So, Marie, here's what I have found to be helpful, especially for the nighttime aggravation of this cough. There is a homeopathic medicine, and you can pick up homeopathic medicines in the vitamin aisle of most health food stores. Homeopathic medicines are dispensed in little blue tubes, and they're in a plastic shelf. There's about 30 or 40 different homeopathic medicines arranged alphabetically. And one tube will cost you about $10. Inside the tube are about 100 little white medicated pellets. And what I have found useful to take the edge off of the nighttime cough in a non-medicative way, because homeopathy works by supporting and promoting something called the law of similars, which is a fantastic thing to do to support and promote the health of your body, to help it get on the other side of whatever it is you're trying to get on the other side of. It really does a great job at helping to support and promote the structure and function of the lungs when you have chest cold. So this particular medicine is called Spongiosta, and I'll spell that. It's Latin, of course, right? S like Sam, P like Peter, O, N like Nancy, N, I said that, N like Nancy, G-I-A, S-P-O-N-G-I-A. G like Godfrey, I like indigo, A like apple. Spongia, second word, tosta, T like Thomas, O, S like Sam, T like Thomas, A. Spongia tosta. Get in the 200C or the 200CK strength if you can. If you can't, get it in the 30C strength. Keep it by the nightstand. And give your husband 2 pellets. Pop 2 of the little white medicated pellets in his mouth when he gets into bed. And keep it by the nightstand, and he can take 2 pellets as needed during the night to help settle down the cough. In my experience, for this particular illness that's going around the country, Spongia tosta is a really excellent homeopathic solution for the nighttime cough that this particular illness seems to be famous for, number one. Now, number two, of course, he's spitting up phlegm and mucus. There's some type of infectious game present. So whenever the body is fighting off an infection, it's only prudent to support and promote the function of the immune system. And how do we do that? With the killer biotic. Now, if you're less than 100 pounds, what I recommend is 6 killer biotic a day. If you're between 100 and 200 pounds, what I recommend is 12 killer biotic a day. Forward breakfast, forward lunch, and forward dinner. So have him do 12 killer biotic a day, for 5 days. And that should really go a long way towards helping his body to get on the other side of this, because the Killer Biotic is filled with 4 or 5 different herbs, each of which stimulates the body's ability to kill bugs and increase immune function dramatically. So add the Killer Biotic into his program. And he also needs to understand that the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is an essential nutrient combination, and when your body is sick, you need more of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, not less of it. And, you know, when he swallows the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, it's going to go into his stomach, not his lungs. So once he swallows the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, if he coughs anything up, it's not going to be Beyond Tangy Tangerine, because the Beyond Tangy doesn't get into the lungs. It gets into the stomach, so there's no harm and no foul there. I suppose you could make the argument that if there's a little bit of Beyond Tangy Tangerine in the back of the mouth, like if your throat is coated with the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, when you cough stuff up from your lungs, there could be a little red hue to it because of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in the throat, but really that's a stretch. And if there's blood, if you're coughing up blood, believe me, you're going to know that you're coughing up blood. And there's no way on God's green earth you would be able to mistake that for a little bit of red coloration in the throat from Beyond Tangy Tangerine. So he needs more of the Beyond Tangy, not less of it, because his body is under stress. And what does medical nutrition do? It supports and promotes the function of the body, especially when it's under stress. So, you know, you wouldn't go outside in cold weather in your bathing suit. You'd bundle up. Well, when you're sick, you need more of the nutrients, not less. So my recommendation, put him back on the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Kicking and screaming, put him back on it. Give him the Killer Biotic, and try the homeopathic Spongia. The codeine is really kind of a silly solution for this. I wouldn't do it. I would do the Spongia and the Killer Biotic instead. And another secret to helping the body deal with and any type of an infectious disease is to eat more protein. You know, this is why the greatest Jewish antibiotic ever developed was chicken soup. Why? Because chicken soup is an extremely easy to absorb protein, right? Chicken in a soup is half digested. So chicken soup, any type of protein, mixed salted nuts, eggs, scrambled eggs, poached eggs, soft boiled with butter and salt, right? Eggs, fish, chicken, meat. Rice and beans together in a meal, all together in one serving is a complete protein. So you want to give your husband protein, 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 and more protein. The Killer Biotic, the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for his body weight, and try the Spongia Tosta at night before bed. And that is a really good recipe for success. So dial that in for your husband, Marie, and call me back and tell me what happened. And thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for the call and for believing in what we have to say. Shuffling off to Oklahoma now. Robert's given us a call. Haven't spoken to any Okie in a long time. Hey, Robert, thanks for the call. You are live.
Thanks for taking my call there, Dr. Glidden. Basically, I've got a couple questions for you and just give you a brief history. I'm 39 years old, weigh about 175, 180 pounds. I fluctuate between that weight. I've been on the BTT for almost a year now, and I'm actually taking a slightly higher dosage than what I should. I'm taking the 200-pound dosage. But the trouble I've been having, and it's been going on for 2 or 3 years, is I've got lower leg pain, and it's really from the knees down. It's in my shins and feet, and it's not a muscular pain. It's not a joint pain. In fact, I don't have any joint problems. It's a bone pain, kind of like growing pains kids get when they're growing up.
Got it, yeah.
And I cannot for the life of me figure out what it is.
Okay. Well, you know, you don't have to, right? And this is the beauty of this approach, because what we do when there's a bone problem is we give the body more bone nutrients. Okay?
Okay.
You know, if it is a joint problem, then we give the body more joint nutrients. If it's a blood sugar problem, we give the body blood sugar nutrients. If it's a brain problem or a heart problem, we give more brain or heart nutrients, and so forth and so on. So the wonderful thing, at least from my point of view, And, man, after you do this for, I've been doing this for over 20 years now, you start to see patterns, right? You start to see patterns develop. And one of the things that is part of this new paradigm of health that I was alluding to in the first hour of the show, this new holistic paradigm that only a handful of us really have our fingers on the pulse of. One of the most profound things about the holistic paradigm is that the fundamental supposition that the human body has wisdom. The human body is endowed with God-given intelligence. That it was the intelligence of the body that made the body grow and that orchestrates all of the unseen automatic metabolic processes that happen all of the time. And at the point of death, when the soul force leaves the body decomposes. So it is the wisdom and the presence of the vital force of the soul inside the human body which keeps everything going and which lends a particular wisdom to the human body. And so from our point of view, every single time, no matter what we're up against, it doesn't matter if it's cancer, it doesn't matter if it's the common cold, when we're attempting to support and promote the structure and function of the body, all that we do, most of the time, is give the body the stuff it needs to fix itself, stop eating stuff that's gumming up the works, get the heck out of the way, and let the wisdom of the body go to work. So it is the rare case that, we really need to, do some sophisticated diagnostic stuff to dial something in because, maybe we're missing something and this, that, or the other thing. But really, most of the time, if we just do some real simple foundation, fundamental, boilerplate medical nutrition, then it cuts the mustard. So here's what I would recommend that you do for 4 weeks to see if you can't get on the other side of this aggressively. All right? So what I would do every day is I would do 2 level scoops of the Beyond Tangy Tangerine in at least 16 ounces of water twice a day. And when you make that solution, you want to take at least an hour to drink it down. Now, you can put 2 scoops into 20 ounces or 24 or 32 ounces. You can put, as long as it's a minimum of 16 ounces, I'm good, okay? You can also put 4 scoops in 32 or 40 ounces of water a day and sip from it all day long if that's easier for your lifestyle and easier for your schedule. So 2 level scoops twice a day in a minimum of 16 ounces of water each time, and take at least an hour to drink down each solution. Number 2, I want you to take 12 selenium a day, 12 selenium, forward breakfast, forward lunch, forward dinner, or better yet, selenium is more easily metabolized into the body between meals, and they're small capsules, so most people don't get a burp back with the selenium if they do it between meals. And that's the best way to take selenium. By the way, for those of you in the listening audience, is between meals. All right. Now, the third thing is the essential fatty acids. The recommendation would be 6 a day, and I want you to take those with a meal. So you can do 2 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, 2 with dinner, or 3 with lunch and 3 with dinner, or whatever. I want you to get 6 a day down the hatch. Now, the secret sauce for you is going to be a longevity supplement called Cal Toddy. I want you to switch from the OsteoFX Plus, if you're taking that now, to a supplement called Cal Toddy. The Cal Toddy, C-A-L, like calcium, Toddy. It's a longevity product. Well, it's in the longevity family. It's made by a company called SupraLife. So when you're in the back office trying to find it, just look for the SupraLife company tab, and you'll find the Cal Toddy there. I want you to get 3 bottles. Well, I'm having you do this for 1 month, so I want you to get 4 bottles of the Cal Toddy, 4 bottles. And I want you for 4 weeks to do 1 ounce of the Cal Toddy in 3 ounces of orange juice 4 times a day. 1 ounce of the Cal Toddy in 3 ounces of orange juice 4 times a day. And that stuff, you can just shoot it down like whiskey or a tequila shot, right? You just shoot it right down, swallow it down, chase it with a little bit of water or a little bit of orange juice if you need to. But I want you to mix it with orange juice or grapefruit juice or something acidic. Orange juice tastes best because it has an orange flavor to begin with. Because the acid in the orange juice facilitates the absorption of the calcium and all of the minerals that are in that supplement into your body. So do 1 ounce 4 times a day. of the Cal Toddy. Do that for 4 weeks, and then call me back right around week number 3 with a report and tell me what's going on with your legs. And if this doesn't do anything to your leg pain, number 1, I'll eat my hat. And number 2, we need to look in a different area. I'm 95% sure this is exactly what the doctor ordered. So check it out, Robert from Oklahoma. We're up against the hard break. And sign up for the online health recovery subscription service because it's awesome. And look, you don't know what you don't know, and this is the best medical insurance you could possibly ever get. And then let's think about this. Let's think this through. When you buy medical insurance, what are you doing? You're betting you're going to get so darn sick you won't be able to afford it, right? Well, you can make the argument that that's not a bad idea to do for trauma care. You're in a car accident or you have a drive-by shooting or a third-degree burn, heaven forbid, because it costs at least $1,000 just to walk in the door of the emergency room, which is stupid on its face, but that's the way that it is. So you need to guard yourself against emergency stuff because it's so unbelievably expensive here in the U.S. because it's an out-of-control medical monopoly that's in charge of your disease management. It should be different, but it's not different. So once you have your catastrophic, insurance down and that's covered, those bases are covered, well, what's the next best thing you can do? Well, you can get on board the holistic health train, eliminate the food that's hurting your body, supplement your diet with the 90 essential nutrients appropriate for your body weight, give your whatever part of your body is weak, your lungs or your heart or your kidney or your joints, extra support with extra nutrients, on top of the 90 essential nutrients, and move forward through your life this way. And this is way better than keeping your fingers crossed and hoping that you're not going to get sick, because my colleague, Dr. Wallach, with $25 million of federally funded research from 1970 to 1982, after 26,000 autopsies and 10 million blood chemistries, discovered that the root cause of most chronic diseases is nutrient deficiencies. It's not genetic. You don't have high blood pressure because you have a bad gene. You don't have type 2 diabetes because you have the diabetes gene. You don't have obesity because your stomach's too big. You have a chronic illness because your body has run out of the stuff it needs to keep that part of your body healthy. It's that simple. And, you're unwittingly eating food that's punching holes in your nutrient tank and that's causing inflammation in the body, and it's only a matter of time till those chickens come home to roost. So it's better, don't you think, to clean your diet up and give your body everything that God intended it to have so that it can fix itself and maintain itself? For goodness sake, we treat our dogs better than we treat our body. We treat our pets better than we treat our body. We treat our cars better than we treat our body. You get the car tuned up. You get the oil changed, the oil filter changed, the fuel filter changed. You put, unleaded fuel in an unleaded tank. You don't put diesel fuel in an unleaded tank. You give your dog or your cat animal food that has all of the essential nutrients they need appropriate for their body weight. For goodness sake, it's time to shift gears, to jump into the new paradigm, to open your eyes. Just look around. Like Dr. Phil says, how's conventional medicine working for you? If you're happy with the way that it's going, if you're happy with watching your friends and family members and church members go down like flies, if you're happy watching everybody get cancer, if you're happy with watching everybody's health deteriorate and then thinking that that's normal, if you're happy with taking prescription medicines to fall asleep and wake up, and prescription medicines to pee and prescription medicine not to pee, then God bless you. It's a free country. More or less, it's a free country. You can do whatever you want to do, but if you're sick and tired of this nonsense, and if you're looking for a better way, you've just found it. So, on my website, fireyourmdnow.com. That's fireyourmdnow.com. I have the Health Recovery subscription series you can sign up for. You get access to 4 hours of live information a week, 4 hours of live information a week. Tomorrow night's webinar, 8 o'clock Central Time, is on how to dose teenagers and how to dose kids with the nutritional supplements. You have hundreds of hours of archived webinars and material that's at your fingertips now. The information here literally can save lives, ladies and gentlemen. Take a big bite out of this pie. I'm challenging you. Take a big bite out of this pie. Do the 90 essential nutrients for life for 90 days. Change your diet for 90 days. Get on board with the health subscription recovery program and get a clue about the stuff that you didn't even know you didn't know about health and nutrition. Until we meet again, which will be tomorrow, God willing, 3 to 5 Central Time, I remain your steadfast advocate for health, your friendly neighborhood naturopath, Dr. Peter Glidden. Look for me on Facebook, Fire Your MD Now, and on the web, fireyourmdnow.com. Until we meet again, Dr. Glidden, over and out.